Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Games and Things. 40 years, that's how long these people have been doing this and how long East Tennesseans have been turning to Games and Things for their home entertainment needs. Pool tables, table tennis, home theater seating, poker tables, bar stools. Games and Things is where I went those many years ago. When we first started the Sports Source, I bought these bar stools that are used once a week, so they're in great shape. Bought them Games and Things. That was before they were ever a sponsor on the show. These are good people. Scott and Lisa Millen are just the tip-top folks. Get out there, see them, check out and it's safe to check out their showroom as well. They're still doing social distancing, the masks, the whole 9 yards. OurGameRoom.com is another way to visit them online. All right, I want to race through some more of these comments. Let's do this. Coaches, these are anonymous SEC coaches talking to Athlons about the Tennessee program. Defensively, it's up in the air. They have really great corners, but they're bad at safety. They've got talent in the front, but they're not really special. It's iffy. Agree, disagree? There's some truth in that, I guess. I don't know if I'd go bad at safety.
Yeah, bad at safety feels like a little high. I think they're probably right about the front. I think they got a bunch of pretty good players, but there's nobody that when an offensive coach flips on the tape to watch Tennessee, they're saying, we got to double that guy. Exactly. They don't have that guy.
And I think it points to the roster overall. Outside of Trey Smith, there's a whole lot of very good in similar ways, but they need star power, and especially on defense.
Okay, next. The good news is that they look more like the old Tennessee. They're bigger and faster. They're developing guys they recruit, and those two things haven't worked together for their defense in a long time. Josh, hard to argue that. I would agree with this.
Right. And when you look at some of the freshmen and sophomores, the first and second year guys, I think you're going to see more talent that will still need to develop. And if that continues to hold up, then I think they're going to continue to look more like the old Tennessee. They're in that direction. But the last statement saying they're a little iffy in terms of special talent, some of those guys, they need more Henry To'oTo'o players to emerge.
Well, and I think this is much more accurate. The development looks a lot better than the next quote. Let's go to this next coach. Butch wasn't a bad recruiter, but Jeremy is doing a better job. That's the best thing they've got going. They're evaluating like Alabama and Georgia in terms of identifying guys. When you go out on the road, you feel them more. No doubt they are recruiting really well right now, but by the numbers, the first two classes weren't as good as Butch Jones' couple of classes in there. So by the numbers, they aren't recruiting better. I think if you make me choose, and I'm not saying they aren't going to recruit better and they aren't better at picking the right guys, but I'd rather have them developing guys better, and I think that's what they've done so far. That's something that the Butch Jones crew never did. Thoughts on that? Disagree?
Well, plus Butch Jones had a lot of players that never made it. So, yeah, he connected on the Derek Barnett's and Cam Suttons and stuff, but he still had a lot of guys that left the program and a lot of other guys that didn't develop.
Yep.
So, yeah, Pruitt is delivering on a higher percentage of them so far, much more than Butch Jones.
Yeah, I think it's really an indictment of the program when you have guys like Preston Williams or guys like Jalen Hurd or guys that go on, or even Kamara in the NFL, guys that leave your program and you're like, well, I don't remember seeing that guy.
Right.
Tennessee, they only lost like one or two guys that they really wanted to keep around. I mean, Gerard Means is probably on the top of that list of guys that they wanted to keep. The guys that they've lost have been guys that are pretty disposable, and you haven't seen guys leave and then go blow up somewhere else. That just does not look good on a program, and it seemed to happen pretty often.
Okay, last anonymous quote from an SEC coach. They are in the right place. The problem is they're on that tree with Bama and Georgia. They need that big moment to turn heads with the elite prospects.
Okay. You have two coaches that made very similar comments, right? You've got the big boys in front of you. You're trying to catch up with them. And that's right. If Tennessee could pull off an upset against Georgia, Bama, Florida at the end of the season, I think would be in that conversation as well. More recruits, as Tennessee's been in the picture with a number of these guys and gotten several committed for 21. They're going after others. Amarius Mims is an offensive lineman that can go to those schools. If you can beat those teams, more of those players will more strongly consider signing with you.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk first about a position where I think, a way in which I think the SEC should copy the NFL. We'll see if these guys agree with that. Then we'll talk about our projected records for Tennessee, and I just got a text during that segment from Sterling Hinton who said, take a guess, 10-0. All right, when we come back, we'll talk more SEC and more UT. Come on.